Today's story is about a boy named Naofumi who lived an absolutely ordinary life. He wasn't particularly good at studies, wasn't interested in anything productive, and loved playing games. Life was moving along uneventfully for him until one day, out of nowhere, he was forcefully teleported to another world without his permission. When Naofumi arrived in this new world, he discovered that he wasn't the only one summoned. 3 other boys, each from different worlds, were also teleported there. These boys were named Itsuki, Ren, and Motoyasu. All 4 of them were granted unique powers. As for Naofumi, he was called the Shield Hero. What does that mean? We'll find out as the story unfolds. The king of this world explained that their land was under attack by monsters, and the 4 heroes were summoned using a forbidden technique to help defeat these creatures. The king had gathered his kingdom's strongest warriors and asked them to form teams with the heroes. To Naofumi's surprise, no one chose to join his team. But then a beautiful girl named Mine stepped up and decided to join him. To prepare for their mission, the heroes were given money to buy equipment. The other 3 heroes received the same amount, but Naofumi was given extra coins since he had only one teammate. Naofumi, armed with just a shield, quickly realized that it wasn't much of a weapon. However, his shield had a unique ability. It could absorb materials and grow stronger. He started by defeating slimes and absorbing them into his shield. Mine suggested they visit a blacksmith to buy armor. At the shop, Naofumi found that none of the weapons were compatible with his shield. Mine chose an expensive armor set for herself. Claiming she would pay him back later, Naofumi agreed, thinking teamwork was important. Later, Mine invited Naofumi to a fancy dinner. She acted sweet, but the next morning, Naofumi woke up to a nightmare. The other heroes, especially Motoyasu, turned against him, calling him a disgrace. It became clear that Mine had joined his team just to steal his money. Furious and betrayed, Naofumi threw his remaining coins at her and stormed out. The king declared that Naofumi couldn't return to his world until all the heroes defeated the monsters. Naofumi was now on his own. The people of the kingdom treated him unfairly, but one person, a blacksmith, saw the truth in his eyes. Despite Naofumi's lack of money, the blacksmith gave him armor on credit, trusting him to pay later. Determined, Naofumi ventured into the forest again, defeating more slimes and leveling up his shield. He even started collecting slime skins, which he sold to a merchant. Though the merchant tried to scam him, Naofumi cleverly negotiated for a better price. With the money, he repaid the blacksmith and prepared himself for the challenges ahead. This marks the beginning of Naofumi's journey, one filled with betrayal, struggles, and growth. He stepped out into the open again, venturing deeper into the forest. After walking for a while, he started feeling a bit hungry. While searching for something, his eyes caught sight of some herbs. Curious, he decided to absorb them into his shield. To his surprise, he ended up with high-quality medicinal items. He quickly took these to a seller specializing in crafting medicines. The seller, impressed by the quality, bought them at a good price. With the money he earned, Naofumi headed to a small restaurant and bought the cheapest meal for himself. After finishing his food and on his way back, 3 street thugs surrounded him, demanding his money. Naofumi fought back, using his shield to defeat them. But deep down, he knew he couldn't rely solely on his shield to fight monsters or the waves that were bound to come. This thought left him worried. Just then, a man approached him and offered help. He led Naofumi to a slave trader and suggested that he could purchase a slave to assist him. Naofumi was shocked at first, but decided to take a look. The merchant showed him several slaves, and during the tour, Naofumi noticed a demi-human girl. The merchant revealed that she was both physically and mentally weak, which is why she was being sold at the lowest price, only 30 coins. After some thought, Naofumi agreed and bought her. When he asked for her name, the girl hesitantly whispered, Raphtalia. Naofumi took her with him to a blacksmith to buy a weapon she could use. Although the blacksmith handed her a weapon, Raphtalia was visibly scared. To help her train, Naofumi took out a slime and instructed her to attack it. However, she was too frightened to act. Seeing her hesitation, Naofumi activated the curse placed on her by the slave trader, which forced her to follow his command. Reluctantly, Raphtalia attacked the slime and managed to kill it, earning her some experience points. This marked the beginning of her leveling up. Later, the two of them went back to the restaurant. This time, Naofumi ordered the cheapest meal for himself, but bought a proper meal for Raphtalia, similar to what the children nearby were eating. Surprised, Raphtalia asked, "Can I really eat this?" Naofumi simply nodded. Seeing her enjoy the meal so much, he explained, "Just because I purchased you doesn't mean I'll treat you as a servant. I need your help. You are going to be my sword. I can't use weapons, only this shield." From there, they returned to the forest, where Naofumi began fighting slimes again. He encouraged Raphtalia to do the same, helping both of them grow stronger over time. Slowly but surely, her level began to rise along with his shield's capabilities. Later that night, as they were resting, Raphtalia curiously asked, "Who are you?" Naofumi replied, "I am the shield hero." Her eyes widened in shock as memories of her parents surfaced. They had told her stories about the shield hero, the only hero who treated demi-humans kindly. She realized Naofumi wasn't the first shield hero to be summoned to this world. There had been others before him. That night, Raphtalia had a terrible nightmare. She dreamt of her parents trying to save her from a three-headed demon dog. To protect her, they threw her into a ravine, sacrificing themselves. She woke up trembling and crying, but Naofumi comforted her, calming her down. The next day, they began harvesting herbs in the forest, collecting medicinal plants. Naofumi sold these herbs to the medicine seller, earning more money. Slowly, their journey continued, with both of them becoming stronger day by day. Raphtalia was sitting outside, watching some kids playing with a ball. When Naofumi came outside, he noticed her looking at them. He asked her, "Do you want a ball too?" Raphtalia shook her head, saying no, but her tail was wagging. Naofumi immediately realized she wasn't being truthful. Smiling to himself, he decided to buy her a ball later. Naofumi continued his routine of gathering and selling herbs to earn money. With some of the money, he bought medicine for Raphtalia, who was slowly recovering from her illness. As her health improved, Naofumi returned to the blacksmith and requested a better weapon for Raphtalia. The blacksmith handed over a slightly bigger sword that would be useful for her in future battles. One day, while exploring deeper into the forest, they encountered a poisonous rabbit. The rabbit bit Naofumi's hand, and he quickly instructed Raphtalia to finish it off. However, she hesitated because the rabbit looked too cute to kill. Naofumi explained to her, "If you keep letting cute things go, you'll never become stronger. If you don't become strong, I won't be able to rely on you. I need your help to stop the waves." Hearing this, Raphtalia reluctantly attacked the rabbit. Defeating it, she said, "I'll do whatever it takes. Just don't abandon me." Afterward, Naofumi returned to the blacksmith to ask if there were other places nearby where they could earn money. The blacksmith directed them to a nearby village. There, Naofumi sold the rabbit's skin to a merchant and asked if there was a place to find more resources. The merchant mentioned a tunnel filled with monster-like creatures whose skins could be sold for a good price. Before heading to the tunnel, Naofumi checked his shield's status system and discovered he had gained enough experience to level up. Upon doing so, his shield evolved, and a new powerful spiritual shield appeared. Naofumi was impressed, but kept his excitement in check, maintaining his usual composed demeanor. When they entered the tunnel, Raphtalia asked Naofumi what she should call him. He casually replied, "Call me whatever you like." Suddenly, they were confronted by a two-headed demon dog. Seeing the monster, Raphtalia froze in fear and ran with Naofumi. She revealed that a three-headed demon dog had killed her parents. Naofumi encouraged her, This is your chance to take revenge. Although terrified, Raphtalia gathered her courage as Naofumi began fighting the demon dog. He managed to hold off one head, but the other bit his shoulder. Despite his pain, he urged Raphtalia to help. Even activating the curse power didn't work as Raphtalia was too scared. In a moment of desperation, Naofumi told her, "If you can't fight, you're free to leave. If I die, the curse will break and you'll be free." Hearing this, Raphtalia couldn't abandon him. She remembered how Naofumi had protected her, fed her, and helped her grow stronger. Determined, she grabbed her new sword and attacked the demon dog. While her attack didn't do much damage, it drew the monster's attention, it threw her aside, and just as it charged at her, Naofumi used his spiritual shield to block its path. Seizing the moment, Raphtalia struck the demon dog in its heart, killing it. She was both happy and shaken by the victory, and she immediately hugged Naofumi. Naofumi smiled and said, "You asked what you should call me, just call me by my name." The next 2 weeks were spent training and fighting monsters. During this time, Naofumi's shield became even more powerful by absorbing parts from defeated monsters. Raphtalia's level also increased significantly, and she grew much stronger. Surprisingly, her physical appearance also changed. She looked older now. Naofumi was puzzled by this transformation, but decided to focus on their mission. They returned to the village, where Naofumi asked the blacksmith about the location of the next wave. The blacksmith explained that in the kingdom, there's a wave tower where heroes register. When a wave is about to strike, they're teleported to the location. At the tower, Naofumi met the other heroes. However, they mocked him, especially Motoyasu, which annoyed Naofumi. Ignoring them, he returned to his training. That night, Raphtalia promised Naofumi she would never betray him. He smiled, already trusting her loyalty. Soon, the countdown for the next wave ended, and all 4 heroes and their teams were teleported to a village under threat. As the wave began, countless monsters attacked the village. While the other heroes focused solely on fighting monsters, Naofumi not only fought, but also protected the villagers, earning their gratitude. Reinforcements from the kingdom arrived, but instead of helping strategically, they cast large fire magic spells that caused chaos, endangering the villagers. Naofumi realized that while the kingdom cared about defeating the wave, they were indifferent to the lives of innocent people. This marked the beginning of Naofumi's journey to not just fight the waves, but also protect those who couldn't protect themselves. While the soldiers fought the monsters during the wave, their reckless attacks caused destruction to the village and harmed innocent people. Naofumi and Raphtalia, however, focused on saving as many villagers as possible. Raphtalia, angered by the soldiers' carelessness, was about to attack one of them, but the vice captain stopped her. The soldiers, meanwhile, were primarily assisting the other 3 heroes, ignoring Naofumi entirely. Despite this, Naofumi and Raphtalia worked tirelessly to clear the wave. When the wave ended, the villagers were immensely grateful to Naofumi. Although the village wasn't completely unharmed, many lives were saved, which was a huge improvement from the past waves that had entirely destroyed their homes. Raphtalia, however, looked sad, wishing her own village could have been saved like this. Naofumi reassured her, trying to lift her spirits. After clearing the wave, the kingdom celebrated, but all the attention was on the other 3 heroes. Naofumi was ignored by everyone, as usual. During the celebration, Raphtalia brought some food for Naofumi. He initially refused, but she insisted, practically forcing him to eat. Their moment was interrupted by Motoyasu, who was brought there by Mine. Mine had convinced Motoyasu that Naofumi had trapped another girl and needed to be stopped. Motoyasu challenged Naofumi to a duel, accusing him of enslaving Raphtalia. Naofumi refused to fight, but Motoyasu insisted, saying that if he won, Raphtalia would be freed. Naofumi countered, asking what would happen if he won. Motoyasu replied, "Then you can keep her." Disgusted by the unfair deal, Naofumi tried to leave, but soldiers blocked his way and forcibly took Raphtalia, making it clear he had no choice but to fight. The duel began in an arena filled with spectators, including many from the kingdom. Motoyasu, as a spear hero, had the advantage of a powerful weapon, while Naofumi, as the shield hero, had none. Using the various shields he had unlocked during his journey, Naofumi skillfully defended himself and countered Motoyasu's attacks, surprising the audience with his strength. As the fight intensified, Naofumi unleashed the demon dog shield he had unlocked earlier. Created using the blood of the two-headed demon dog, formed a cage around Motoyasu, trapping him inside with slimes that began biting him. Motoyasu, overwhelmed by pain, was on the verge of losing. However, just then Mine, hiding nearby, began interfering. As the duel continued, Mine interfered by attacking Naofumi, causing him to fall. Taking advantage of the situation, Motoyasu defeated Naofumi, and the king declared Motoyasu the winner. This announcement shocked and angered Naofumi, as it was clear the fight had been rigged. Adding to his frustration, he learned that Mine was actually the king's daughter, making her the princess of this kingdom. Naofumi couldn't understand why the king hated him so much. If the king despised the shield hero, why summon him in the first place? Despite having done nothing wrong, Naofumi was treated unfairly, fueling his anger. While grappling with these thoughts, he noticed a royal general using a special liquid to remove the curse symbol from Raphtalia's chest. The curse mark was successfully removed, but Naofumi remained indifferent to it. For him, the curse wasn't the issue, it was the unjust treatment he received despite saving an entire village during the wave. Frustrated and hurt, Naofumi questioned why everyone around him acted so cruelly. He felt isolated and betrayed. Just then, Mine approached Raphtalia and raised her hand to slap her. However, Ren and Itsuki intervened, stopping her. Motoyasu, standing nearby, was left speechless and didn't know how to react. Raphtalia walked over to Naofumi and reassured him. Even though the curse mark is gone, I'm still your sword. I'll continue to fight by your side against monsters and waves. Despite her words of comfort, Naofumi felt defeated and doubted himself. He angrily declared, I'm no hero. This shield is useless, as he prepared to discard it. But Raphtalia stopped him, standing firm in her belief that Naofumi was a true hero. Their bond grew even stronger as Raphtalia reminded him of his kindness and efforts to protect others. The scene ended with Naofumi regaining some confidence, as he realized that Raphtalia's trust and loyalty were more valuable than the approval of the kingdom. Together, they vowed to continue fighting, regardless of the challenges ahead. Naofumi, struggling with his emotions, finally hears Raphtalia's words that resonate deeply within him. Her unwavering support and understanding remind him of his worth, and he begins to regain his confidence. However, amidst this realization, Motoyasu remains trapped in his delusions, believing Naofumi has enslaved Raphtalia. Ren and Itsuki confront him, calling him either blind or a fool for failing to see the truth. The next day, Naofumi notices something strange. Raphtalia's age seems to have progressed rapidly. Curious, he asks her about it, and she explains that her demi-human clan matures for times faster than normal humans. This revelation surprises Naofumi, but also helps him understand her unique nature. Later, the king summons all 4 heroes to reward them for clearing the first wave. However, this event quickly takes a sour turn. Ren and Itsuki accuse Mine of cheating during Naofumi's duel, but Mine, supported by her father, denies the allegations. The king, blinded by favoritism, dismisses the accusations, further fueling Naofumi's frustration. Afterward, Naofumi revisits the merchant who had helped him before. There, he learns about some mystical tools and birds used for transporting goods. Intrigued, he decides to purchase one of these birds. To his surprise, the bird egg hatches into a cute, dragon-like creature that Naofumi names Philo. The little bird quickly bonds with him, adding a sense of joy to his journey. As Naofumi continues his adventures, he discovers a mysterious book written in a language he doesn't understand. Raphtalia suggests they learn the language together, showcasing her dedication to helping him every way possible. Meanwhile, trouble brews in a nearby village. The king appoints Motoyasu as the new lord, with Mine setting outrageous taxes on the villagers. These taxes include fees for entering, leaving, or even living in the village. The villagers, already struggling for survival, express their anger, but Mine refuses to listen. Naofumi steps in to stand up for them, showing his protective nature. To resolve the tension, Mine proposes a race between Motoyasu and Naofumi. Excited by the challenge, Philo eagerly agrees, leaving Naofumi with no choice but to participate. As the race begins, Philo and Naofumi take the lead, much to Mine's frustration. In a desperate attempt to win, Mine resorts to dirty tactics, but Naofumi's determination and Philo's speed make for an exhilarating race. The story continues, with Naofumi proving time again that even in a world against him, his courage, resilience, and loyal companions will help him overcome every obstacle. Naofumi and Philo are in a race against Motoyasu, who's been given a boost in speed, and Mine, who's doing everything to cheat. Despite the odds, Naofumi and Philo refuse to give up. Using his shield powers, Naofumi pushes forward, but Mine accuses him of using magic. Just then, a mysterious man, who had earlier given Mine the scroll, steps in and confirms that magic was indeed used. However, he clarifies that Naofumi only used supportive and healing magic, and it's actually Mine and Motoyasu who cheated. Mine, unable to deny this, angrily declares that she no longer wants the village, calling it worthless, and leaves with Motoyasu. The villagers thank Naofumi for saving their home, but Naofumi, ever the pragmatist, demands a reward. The villagers, unable to offer much, suggest that he take something else. Naofumi, however, isn't looking for handouts. He has a token that allows him to enter any village without paying entry fees. He decides to spend the night in the forest, where Philo, now a childlike creature, snuggles up to him as he sleeps. The next morning, Naofumi wakes up to find Philo lying next to him, and when they go to the merchant, they learn that Philo is a special type of bird capable of taking a human form. They also discover that a new spell has connected Philo to Naofumi in the same way Raphtalia is connected to him. Their bond deepens and they head to the blacksmith to buy clothes. However, the blacksmith doesn't have magical clothes and directs them to a nearby tailor. At the tailor's shop, the tailor reveals that she can make the clothes, but she needs magical thread, which can only be found at another shop. They set off and soon meet a man rushing back to his village. Naofumi offers to take him there in exchange for a small favor. Along the way, they are stopped by villagers, but when Naofumi shows them his hero token, they quickly understand his status. After delivering the man home, the man thanks Naofumi and gives him a large amount of fruits and vegetables. He also asks about the spells Naofumi used. Later, Naofumi meets the merchant, who praises him for his deeds. As they continue their journey, they are ambushed by bandits. The merchant suggests handing them over to local soldiers, and Naofumi agrees, but the bandits laugh, thinking they can intimidate them. Naofumi, showing his strength, takes back what the bandits had stolen, and the merchant defends his actions, claiming that it's not wrong to take back stolen goods. Meanwhile, Naofumi learns more about gemstones from the merchant, gaining the ability to create and refine them, which proves useful for future adventures. Later, Naofumi heads to a mine where the merchant's friend works, promising to provide him with some gemstones. In the mine, Naofumi finds several valuable stones, but a massive beast attacks them. With his shield, Naofumi manages to stop the beast, but it's too powerful for Raphtalia to handle. She's injured as the beast can hear even the slightest sound. Naofumi quickly deduces that the beast has heightened hearing and uses his new skill to create a dense sound wave, which incapacitates the beast and kills it. After the battle, Philo refines the gems into threads, using her energy to imbue the threads with magic. These magical threads will help her create powerful clothes. Naofumi and Philo then return to the tailor, ready to get the clothes they need for their journey ahead. This marks another victory in their growing adventure. Naofumi and Philo head to the tailor, where the lady quickly creates the clothes. Philo is happy with the clothes, but Naofumi is even more pleased that he doesn't have to spend any extra money. Afterward, Naofumi gets a new task: to deal with a dangerous tree that's been causing trouble. Many adventurers had tried to defeat it before, but none returned. Naofumi sends Philo ahead to find the missing adventurers and save them. When Philo reports back, she asks why the adventurers didn't just defeat the tree if it was so dangerous. Naofumi tells her that the villagers realize he's the legendary shield hero they've heard about. They asked for his help, as the tree's presence is making people sick. Naofumi first gives the villagers some medicine he brought, refining it so it works better. However, when the villagers try to use seeds from the tree to grow more, Naofumi refines them but ends up having to sell them, though the villagers are too scared to accept. With the threat to the village removed, Naofumi decides to leave. He gets another job from the merchant to visit a hot spring, where he completes his task and decides to stay a little longer. While resting, Raphtalia starts feeling a bit jealous of Philo, who has been spending a lot of time with Naofumi. One night, Raphtalia decides to go out to find a rare metal. However, Philo follows her, hoping to get the metal for Naofumi as well. Raphtalia doesn't want to share, but she can't send Philo away. As they walk, Philo almost falls into a ravine, but Raphtalia saves her. They continue their journey, and soon encounter a rhino-like monster that destroys the bird's nest they were looking for. With no metal to be found, they defeat the beast and, in turn, get a new hammer, which will help Naofumi craft better equipment. Next, they head to a village where they're tasked with delivering medicine, only to discover that the villagers are all sick due to a nearby dragon's poisonous gas. Naofumi gives them the medicine he refined, but the illness can't be cured permanently unless the dragon is defeated. Naofumi decides to face the dragon. When he fights it, he easily defeats it, but the dragon releases a poison cloud before dying. As they try to leave, the dragon suddenly attacks Philo and swallows her. Naofumi and Raphtalia are stunned. In that moment, Naofumi's powers grow stronger, but they become unstable. The dark powers within him begin to take over. As he advances, Raphtalia tries to stop him from losing control, but things get worse when the dragon's poison gas starts affecting Raphtalia. She falls unconscious, and Naofumi, in a panic, burns the dragon's body and rushes Raphtalia back to the village. He tells the villagers that the dragon is dead, and they're overjoyed. In gratitude, they offer him a lot of money, but Naofumi turns them down, knowing the true reward lies in the journey ahead. Naofumi, after receiving the reward money from the villagers, decides to leave. However, Philo gives him a crystal she found inside the dragon, and Naofumi decides to add it to his shield. As they walk through the forest, they encounter a young girl named Melty. Naofumi, seeing her noble attire, quickly realizes she's from a noble family. Melty reveals that she is the second princess of the kingdom and asks Naofumi to take her back to her kingdom. Surprised, Naofumi agrees and they head towards the kingdom. Upon arrival, Naofumi sends Philo with Melty to fulfill her promise of paying him for his help. Although Naofumi is a bit frustrated, he follows them into the kingdom. Inside, Naofumi demands holy water from the priests, as it is the only thing capable of curing any curse. The priests warn him that gold coins are valuable, but Naofumi insists. They finally bring out a bottle of holy water, but Naofumi notices it's fake. He demands the real one or things won't go well. The priests, unwilling to upset him, bring the genuine holy water. As Naofumi exits with the holy water, a soldier from the kingdom starts following him, which makes Naofumi uneasy. He fears he might get caught in another problem that will waste his time. To avoid this, he decides to leave with Raphtalia. But the soldier confronts him and warns that he won't let Naofumi enslave another girl. Naofumi is confused at first, but then he realizes the soldier is referring to Philo. Just then, a fight breaks out between the shopkeepers and the soldier. Before things can escalate, Melty, along with Raphtalia and Philo, shows up. She tells everyone to stop, and Naofumi learns that Melty is actually the second princess thanks to her royal status. Naofumi doesn't have to fight, however, Melty expresses disappointment over her father's behavior towards Naofumi, which saddens her. A soldier then arrives, calling Melty to meet with the king. Melty leaves, feeling upset because she couldn't deliver her message to Naofumi, and Philo, too, feels down as she had become close friends with Melty. Naofumi, seeing the situation, realizes that Melty's treatment at the kingdom is tied to her father's attitude, and it leaves everyone with a sense of uncertainty. Naofumi doesn't want to help any other main characters because he has seen their reactions during the previous wave. He believes in fighting and doesn't care about anyone else. After this, he agrees to avoid getting involved with others. He then asks the blacksmith about the stars next to Rahtalia's name on his system screen. The blacksmith explains that these stars represent class upgrades. Once she gets a class upgrade, her level will increase and she will become even stronger. To do this, Naofumi needs to go to the city tower. Upon reaching the tower, Naofumi discusses the class upgrade. He then asks a merchant how he can upgrade the classes of his slaves. The merchant has become famous because he provided Naofumi with such powerful demi-humans, making him well known. However, he tells Naofumi that he cannot upgrade classes yet because something important is coming, and they need to wait. This means Naofumi and his team can't level up for a while. To help in the meantime, the merchant gives Philo a special device that she can wear on her legs to help her prepare. As they're making these plans, soldiers arrive, along with several demi-humans who have gathered enough coins to join Naofumi's team. Naofumi exchanges their coins for their help. Later, while having a meal at a restaurant, Naofumi unexpectedly runs into Ren and Itsuki. They are shocked to see him, and he is equally surprised to see them. Ren and Itsuki explain that they had been to a village where the people were overburdened with taxes that were supposed to help develop the village. The villagers were struggling so much that they couldn't afford food. Naofumi had helped them earlier by solving the issues caused by Itsuki's actions, which had caused a lot of destruction in the village. Ren, on the other hand, had defeated a monster, but its poison had spread a disease among the villagers, and Naofumi had resolved that too. Naofumi tells them that if they want to help people, they need to be careful not to cause more problems in the process. After their conversation, Naofumi decides to leave. Before he goes, the merchant gives him a hair clip that increases physical strength. Philo is thrilled with the gift. Just then, the soldiers who had joined Naofumi's team arrive. They are ready to begin their new journey together.